Good morning. It's Jane, and on today's WOTWIP and Coffee, and yes, I do have a big jug of coffee. Thought we'd just sit and crochet a little bit and do a little bit of chit-chat. You know how it goes. I talk about this or that, and of course my opinions are very opinionated, and I'm going to give them to you, and if you can't handle that, then I suggest you move on, find another video to watch. Because yeah, I am going to give you my opinion. It has been rainy today. It's supposed to rain off and on today. And my church is having their 40th anniversary. And they had determined it was a weekend-long thing. Yesterday, they went to a town about 60 miles away from here, and they did what's called a prayer walk. And basically, they're hoping to plant a church there. I don't think there are any churches there, but a couple of different churches in the community followed along with them, so they did that little prayer walk. And haven't heard the results, how it went, whether they had any issues or anything. But basically, if you don't know what a prayer walk is, it's where you walk throughout the community. When you see a school, you stop, you pray for the school and the people in the school. You pray for businesses along the way. You just pray over the town. That's basically what a prayer walk is. If you happen to meet someone on the street, you may share the gospel with them, or you may just ask them, is there something that you could pray for them about? Real simple. There's nothing real hard about it other than the walking all over town. And then today they are planning an outdoor cookout. And people that have campers or tents or whatever are more than welcome to set them up out in the field and sleep overnight if they choose to. Now, our church also has 2 showers in it, so that if they need to clean up, they can certainly go in there into those bathrooms and clean up, that kind of thing. They were originally put in, from what I understand, for when they have lock-ins at the church with the teens, college students, that they would be able to shower if they chose to the next morning. And then after the luncheon, then there's a talent show inside the sanctuary, which features, some of the members of the church. I think I'm using the wrong hook. Of course I am. Let me take that back. No wonder it looked tight. So, and then with Sunday, they're planning an outdoor service, and it will be followed by a pig roast. Now, it's supposed to rain all weekend off and on. So we'll see what happens. I believe they do have plans for if it does rain, and they can't cook outside, because for the hamburgers and hot dogs, there is a, by what we call the multi-purpose room, which is where we have a lot of our luncheons, breakfasts, those kind of things, meetings at. And over outside the door, there are double doors, that there is a nice overhang, cemented place where they could actually cook the burgers on the grills there. and the hot dogs there. And then, we could eat inside. So I think they do have a contingency plan. I'm hoping they do. Our church also has a community garden that people can use. There are herbs, there are vegetables, no fruits. There isn't a fruit tree, it's just a small garden. And yeah, so they do take from it lots of times to prepare certain dishes for it. The only thing with the cookout is you're supposed to bring some kind of dessert or some side dish. I'm bringing apple brownies. I had taken those to our potluck dinner this week, and the kids really love the apple brownies. So I am making more apple brownies to take for that. But yeah, it should be rather interesting. So that's kind of what's going on in my weekend. I was hoping to do a little bit of cutting bamboo and spraying with pesticide, but that's not going to happen this weekend. It'll have to wait until the days are a little drier. And of course, they don't want you to spray the pesticide until it's 80 degrees because it works better when it's 80 degrees. Well, I'm not going to be out there spraying when it's 80 degrees because it's too hot around here with the humidity. That many times will feel like it's 90, 95 degrees, and I can't handle it. So I spray when it's a little cooler, when it's under that 80. Unless there's a good breeze, then I don't mind spraying. So yeah, do that. I do find it interesting, all the things coming out politically, Things like, once again, the Democrats are paying for people to bash Trump and their supporters on TikTok and Instagram and wherever. They're paying them. Not only that, but they're also paying newspapers, media, to put out false stories, false headlines. And I find that sad. I would like to think that our politicians would be more interested in, because they always go out for the truth in advertising. Well, why don't you put truth in politics? Of course, then we wouldn't have any politics, because, politicians can't tell the truth. They can't be honest with you and tell you exactly what's going on. Which, that's one of the reasons that I do like the bad orange man, is because, one, he's not a politician, and he just tells you the truth the way that he sees it. And unfortunately, many times what he's saying is actually true. So, I don't like the way he speaks sometimes, but he's not a politician. So, there you go. I did find it rather interesting. I'd watched Kamala talking about price control for foods. They do that in other countries that are called communist countries, socialist countries, and it doesn't work. Many times the amount that we pay for goods and groceries is reflected in what the cost of fuel is to deliver those things. Farmers have to pay higher fuel to be able to take care of the crops, to grow them, that kind of thing. So it gets reflected there. And then, of course, the middleman that's got to get his extra dime in, even though he's got nothing in it. Then grocery stores have to get it shipped to them, so there's that cost added in. You want to control prices on groceries and goods? Take care of the fuel problem. You'll see those prices come down. That's just basic economics, folks, and it's too bad that we don't teach that in schools, or even have a microeconomics class in schools. Yeah, just sad. And besides that, have any of you ever talked to a farmer to see if they are actually gouging prices? Have you talked to grocery managers to ask them, how do they come to that pricing? How much are they getting for their overhead on those groceries? Because I guarantee you, on food products, they're not getting a big return on those. And I have had a grocer tell me once, a lot of it depends on the amount that you're paying those employees. Many times in regular grocery stores, you have to be part of the grocers union. So you have to pay those people a little higher price than what you would pay someone, say at Target or Kmart or Walmart, their superstores. So there's that too. And of course you do know that the Walmarts do not do any butchering on their places. Many grocers do have butchers in the back. You got to pay for their expertise. So, those are some things to take into consideration. And I'm sorry, controlling prices on groceries is just bullshit. Yeah, I said it. It's not going to work. It's not going to work well. Not going to end well. So, yeah. Might do you some good if you go look up at all these universities that offer you online courses free. Normally, these are courses that were taught in the past, but either the professor has retired or has changed his direction in what he is teaching. And believe me, they get to choose what they teach. So, yeah. So lots of times those courses are put up for free at almost all universities around the world. So you might want to just look at some basic economic classes, microeconomics, so that you can learn something about those issues. So, I don't know, it just scares me the way that people are just so blindly following, and you can see where one candidate says the same thing the other candidate does, yet the media portrays it in a negative light because it's not a candidate they want to endorse. So they're not going to do anything positive or tell the truth about that candidate. But then the other candidate, they'll say the exact same thing, and they'll make it like it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. So, people, be aware of what's going on. Pay attention. And I always, I'm not the type of person that just follows a party line. I have always looked into whatever is going on with a candidate. I do a lot of research into those candidates, both candidates, and I look for positives, I look for the negatives, I look for what they're actually saying they are going to do, and if they've ever been in any office, if they've even followed through with that and done it. Because you can tell a lot by that. If they've run on all these promises to get in to any kind of political office and then never followed through with that and done it, pretty much what they're spouting out there on the campaign trail is probably going to be a complete lie. So, you know, those are some things that I look at when I'm looking at the candidates. And I do look at all the candidates. I go research different things. There are some that I don't, that have come along and I'm like, I don't know if I have to need to do that much research. And I'll go and do a little bit of research and find they've never followed up with anything that they said or done, you know, to help the situation. So I'm like, yep, that candidate's out. But yeah, like I said, the candidate that I wanted did not get in, and that's okay. We have 2 to choose from. And so now this year it's going to be voting for the lesser of 2 evils. And I've done that many times. Had to vote for the lesser of 2 evils. And to be honest, folks, your opinion may differ. And that's perfectly fine, you know. You made your decision based on whatever criteria you made. So go for it. But don't denigrate other people because they don't choose this person you chose because they've looked at things a little differently or they've done more research than you. So let's stop being so ugly towards each other because we have different opinions, different views. And I'm one of those. I don't care if you have a view opposite mine. You're more than welcome to share your view. But don't be surprised if I come back with, this is why I don't believe this. This is why I don't follow that trend or whatever. So yeah. And I find it rather funny. I've had people tell me, well, I can't have anything to do with you because of that view. That view that you have. And I'm like, fine, that just makes my life a little bit easier. Move on. But you know, if you want to talk to me about your opinion, then you need to do it respectfully. And you need to do it without being ugly. So, there's that. Let's stop being so mean towards each other just because we have different views. You know, I like my favorite colors are purple and green. Yours may be blue and gray. You know, that doesn't mean we can't get along in somewhere else or do things that are mutual. I just find this whole idea that we have to totally separate ourselves from each other because we have different views is a little crazy. Especially when you have the one side that tells you it takes a village to raise a child, yet you don't want to raise that child if that person has a different view than yours. Goodness, people. Stop being crazy. I was reading in one of the news organizations about how they had found in both Virginia and in Georgia that there were thousands of people that were registered that are non-citizen to vote. Virginia has sent out a lot of those, taken them off the voter rolls and sent them notice, and they have 14 days in Virginia where they can come back and prove they are indeed a citizen so that they can vote. And I understand there are some communities that allow non-citizens to vote when it has to do with things that are going on in their communities or their states, and that's understandable. But when it comes to federal elections, I think you need to be a citizen in the story. And there's a reason I think that. Right now we have a lot of non-citizens who are receiving benefits at a greater value than what our own citizens are. And I'll use this as an example. We have a ton of veterans who are homeless, who are in need of groceries, food, housing. We do not provide that for them. And they went to war for us. They served for us. So they should be taken care of before we take care of someone who crossed our border illegally. And that is an opinion that that is a very strong opinion that I have. There's a community in Chicago. Landlords have lost their apartment buildings because it has been overtaken by Venezuelan gangs that have come here. This is real, people. There are consequences to letting just anyone in your country without vetting them. They have robbed several gun stores around them. Some of those came with guns. How did they get through? They had guns. That's my question. Why weren't their belongings searched to make sure they weren't bringing in dangerous things? So, yeah. But this landlord has lost his property because this Venezuelan gang has kicked everybody out of this apartment complex, and they're putting people in and they're collecting the rent. Can't make this up, folks. This is America nowadays. And this is what open borders brings us. Brings us anarchy and chaos. That's why it needs to be stemmed and taken care of. I don't care if you come to the U.S., as long as you come the right way, as long as you come with the right attitude, that you want to become a citizen and make this country a better place for people. Not take it down to the level of what you came from. So, and some of you probably have already turned off this video, and that's okay. I understand completely. Now, let's get to the kitty cats. The kitty cats have been awful needy the past couple of days, and I don't know what's going on with them. Anytime I sit down, many times Ronan will come over and he's got to be right at my feet, or he's got to be right next to me, or in the chair, needing some loving. And I'm like, okay, look, it's not like I don't give you a lot of affection anyway, but what is going on these days? And I had someone tell me they think it might be because they're a little nervous about all the packing up things. Well, I'm not so sure I believe that, but I guess maybe they could have anxiety about something like that. Not real sure about that, though, like I said. That just seems a little strange. But then Izzy's been getting into things, and one of her favorite things right now is she will sit outside the, I have a closet where my heating unit is, and there's a big vent there, but the vent is where the filter goes for the unit. And she will sit there and she will meow into that vent. She will push on the vent like she's expecting something to happen. It's rather funny to watch her do that. And Ronan lately, he's got this one window where he thinks he's got a scratch at the window. I'm like, what are you doing? Of course, their favorite is when the deer come up. I pulled into the driveway yesterday, and the reason this video is a day late is because yesterday I had an eye appointment, and my eyes were dilated, and that stuff keeps me dilated for hours on end. Normally it's about 11:30 midnight before it wears off. So being in front of a light, I can't handle that with how bright the ring light is in front of me to light this up, because otherwise you wouldn't see a whole lot. But as I pulled into the driveway, there was a little fawn in the driveway. No mother, just the fawn. Looked like he was probably about a month old. So I kind of stopped and looked at him, and then I kind of rolled the window down. I said, "Are you lost?" And then he took off to the side of the house into the woods. And then I hear Mama come pouncing through the woods. So, yeah, it was kind of funny. The cats love watching the deer. They find that absolutely fascinating. They enjoy that part, and they usually talk to them through the window, And then yesterday I had an incident. As you know, the doctor wants to do a sleep study, and I'd opted for the home sleep study. So the monitoring device was supposed to have been delivered by FedEx yesterday, which supposedly it was delivered 5 minutes before I got home, or maybe 10 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes before I got home. Nothing here. FedEx sometimes here in this area will be late and not deliver anything till about 6. So I waited till about 6, and then I called the company that was sending it, and the person that I got hold of said it was delivered at 12:05, and she proceeded to describe that I had French doors that were brown and a step. And she was looking at the picture, and I said, "Well, first of all, I have no steps whatsoever to get into my home." She said, "No, this is a real small step." I said, there are no steps to get into my home. And my door is hunter green. It is not brown. It is a double door, but it is not brown. It is hunter green. I said, "I have no idea who you delivered to, where they delivered it, but it was not delivered to me." And then she proceeded to try to tell me that I was going to have to pay the $695 for the unit, since it probably would not be returned. And I said to her, "If you send it FedEx, it's insured, you charge FedEx. They delivered it wrongly." I had a friend who used to work for FedEx years ago, and FedEx, if you delivered to the wrong address, you were fired. You were just fired. And I had said to her, I said, "I don't know why you didn't require a signature." Because generally when the FedEx, asks for a signature, they do want to see your ID most of the time. Not always. Do have some drivers that are awful lazy and just sign here and move on. But this didn't require a signature, and I said to her, well, you guys need to figure it out because I can't do the sleep study without the equipment. And she said, well, we'll call you and get back to you. I'm not expecting a call, I'll tell you why. And I think I told you the other day, I'd gotten a call from my doctor's office, and she said, she told me the company had been trying to reach me, but they couldn't reach me. Well, I've not had any calls from anybody, that was a medical company or this company's name. I said, no one's tried to call. The only call that I keep getting is a spam call about health care, wanting me to sign up for their health care plan. And I said, if they did try to call, why didn't they just leave a message for me to call back? So she gave me the number to call, called the company, explained to them that I was told by my doctor they'd been trying to reach me, but they couldn't get me. I said, however, I've received no calls, no messages to call you back or anything about this. So, I don't know what's going on with you, but apparently you got people that aren't doing the job you've sent them to do. I said, messages, because there is a place for you to leave a message. You could leave a message and I would get back to you, probably most instantaneously. I said, I don't answer calls from phone numbers I don't recognize or that do not have a company name behind them. She's like, well, they did try to reach you. I said, okay, whatever. Apparently they didn't try hard enough. So I told her, I said, you might want to pass that on to their supervisor, that, it might be a good idea for them to learn to leave messages. I said, I'm pretty sure, I wouldn't get that one operator that tried to call, and maybe the reason they don't leave a message is because they don't get paid if they don't get in touch with you. So I do know some of you companies do that with your people that are callers, that if they don't make connection, they don't get paid for those calls, which I don't think is right. If you're making calls for the company, you should get paid for that time. Those are the companies you need to crack down on. So, yeah. So I'm waiting for a call. We'll see if it ever comes. I doubt it's ever going to come, to be honest. I will probably have to call them back. But yeah, find it interesting. And I did go up. I have 3 houses on this road that I live on. I'm the 4th house. So I did go up and, knocked on all the other houses to see if they got my box. They didn't get it. So apparently they didn't deliver it here. No idea where they actually delivered it. I said, well, can you find the GPS address? The coordinates? And she said, well, I don't know if they have that ability. I said, well, the post office does. Maybe you want to change it over to the post office. At least they know where I live. So, I don't know. We will see. May never get the sleep study done. Isn't that crazy? I hope you guys have been watching the different channels that are coming up with Boggy Creek blankets. I do know that Juan had suggested, Juan the yarn addict, he had suggested about creators creating a Boggy Creek blanket, doing the tutorial, that kind of thing. And it's a good idea. I don't know if I will be creating one or not. I'm thinking about it. I was thinking that maybe with the green yarn, because, you know, I kind of like using different stitches, that I might look into just taking one of the stitch books, creating different little stitches as we go without the, you know, within the blanket. And that might be a little bit of fun. Of course, you know, he suggested that channels do it as a tutorial. But if any of you have ever done a tutorial, you will know it's not as easy as it looks like. Some of the people make it on camera. I mean, you know, when we watch Crystal from Bag of Days, she makes it look all easy. And it can take hours to film a 10-minute video tutorial. And you guys think I'm crazy, but I'm telling you the truth. You've got to get your camera angle right. You have to hope that your hands are in the camera range. I think Crystal uses a cell phone to film. A lot of people do use a cell phone. I use a camera because I can actually see in the screen. It's a little bit harder to do that when you're using a cell phone, unless you have a system set up so that you can actually see what you're doing. And there is a way to hook your phone up to a monitor so you can see in the monitor what you are doing while you are filming. I don't have that capability right now. So I don't do that right now. And generally when I film tutorials, it is over at my kitchen table with a small setup, a very small setup. So, yeah. And then you've got to go and edit, and you have to try to edit out the mistakes. Many times when you're filming, you've got to rip it out because it didn't film right. Yeah, it takes a lot. Then you've got to edit it. Most people do compress their files so that they upload to YouTube at a little faster rate. And for some people who have an idea what that is, it's called rendering your videos. And that can take time. Sometimes that takes 30 to 40 minutes to render the video. So that it will take less than 6 to 7 hours to upload. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into filming for videos that a lot of people don't realize. Many times when I film these, or I film other things, I don't worry about the mistakes. I just keep going. And generally I will just put those pieces together and render them and then put them up. Because we're just talking here, you know? As you can see earlier, I had the camera battery died, so I changed the battery and restart what I was talking about, and did that, and now we're hunky-dory, moving on. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into filming, a lot more than what people understand. I kind of wish someone would take a video and video themselves doing everything that they need to do. Maybe I should do that. Everything that they have to do in order to get the video into a format, get it small enough to upload on YouTube. And for those of you that don't compress your videos, I will tell you this: Handbrake is a great free tool that will actually do that for you. and it makes it into the correct format to upload onto YouTube. You can send your, you can actually hook up your phone to your computer so that you can just transfer those files directly to Handbrake and to do that. Now, Handbrake will not combine videos. There are a lot of different places that you can go to do that. One that I use is I think it's called Free MP4. I think that's the name of it. But it will combine, you know, different clips together to put them into one full clip. So then you could take that, put it into the Handbrake tool that you have to compress that video so that it uploads a lot faster. So there's a little tip for those of you that are looking or thinking about starting a channel, and I hope you do. As much work as it is to put up videos, do videos for a channel, I enjoy it. I enjoy having the discussions that we have, those kind of things. And here's another thing. I had to redraw on the winner of the giveaway that I had. And again, that person has not come forward. So later tonight, in the midnight hours, when I get home from the church events, I will again be drawing another winner. You know, unless that person contacts me. So, if you've entered a giveaway, you need to keep an eye out to see if your name was drawn. So yeah, I'm a little perplexed by that. I did think this was funny, and I thought about responding to it. When I had done the video on obesogenics, talking about it, the study of it and what it is, those kind of things, I had someone that commented, maybe you should just stop eating food that's crap or something like that. And I thought that was rather funny because I'm like, well, apparently you don't follow anything on this channel and you just saw it by happen chance, and you're a bit of a YouTube troll. So, try not to be so judgmental with people on YouTube's videos. But I thought that was rather funny, and I don't know if I'm going to answer it or not. I do leave those comments up, you know, for other people to see so they can see the type of person that is. And it's one of those that says it's user, you know, number so-and-so, whatever. So, like I figure, it's probably a troll. Especially since you have no idea what I eat or don't eat. So, I do find that rather interesting. Kind of funny. And I'm kind of sarcastic and vindictive that way. I'll leave those comments up for everybody to see. So yeah, it's been rather interesting coming along, doing some of these videos. And, you know, when I do the Healthier You, lots of times, like I said, that research is just things that I've had questions in my mind, or I'll see something like that article on obesogenics, and I'm like, what is this? They actually paid to do those kind of studies? So, you know, I want to go see the study, read the study, find out what exactly it is all about, and then I'll share it with you. So, yeah, just thought that was funny. I have moved on from that blue, ran out of the blue, and so now I am using I love this yarn print in Float Along in that color. So now I'm adding that. Once I finish with this skein, I will go back to this color here and work a couple of rows with it. And then I'll go on to a different couple of blues, and that kind of thing. Just because I'm having fun messing, using all these different colors up. I do find that too many times we're too worried about our color combinations, and when we don't need to be as worried about them as we are, there are ways to make them work. And sometimes it's using a color just in between those colors that will bring them together. So don't be afraid to try it, folks. Get out of your comfort zone. Try something different. Try some different color combinations. I think that is the neatest thing about the boggy blankets, because we're getting to see those mixes and we're getting to see some different color combinations that we may not have thought of. So I kind of hope that you're thinking a little bit outside of the box, especially when it comes to those blankets for kids. You saw the hats that the kids had us do, and these were color combinations I would not have ever put together. But it did open my eyes a little bit to the idea of challenging some of the color combinations that I thought were appropriate. You know, and I found most of those hats, they went together just fine. And they were adorable, and the kids love them. So, yeah, that's been a rather interesting adventure in itself, doing those hats. And like I said, it opened a color palette that I would have never thought to put together. I know many people use a color wheel for putting colors together. Guess what? Those kids did not have a color wheel. They went with their favorite colors. Simple. Easy. They didn't let what someone has said goes together as complementary with one another dictate what they chose. So I hope that we can all be a little bit more adventurous in the future with our color combinations. Like I said, that just opened up my eyes to things that I would have never thought would go together. Orange and turquoise? No. You know, maybe orange and like a dark blue or a royal blue, because we've seen those as team colors for some of our favorite football, baseball, basketball teams, and thought, oh, those go good together, you know. But some of these combinations the kids came up with, you know, like the brown and the turquoise and the purple. I mean, I would have never thought to put that in a blanket together. You know, in my eyes, that would have said, horror, horror. But that child, it was a beautiful combination. It worked, and I was surprised by some of those color combinations. Like I said, don't be afraid to use color. And those of us that aren't colorblind, we have lots of choices available to us. I was talking with that about that to my with one of the technicians that does the where they go in and take the picture of the back of your eyes, those kind of things to see what's going on. And they use a laser light that is, you look into the screen and what you see is this green, like a dot with 5 lines around it, and you're supposed to look at the dot the entire time. And then across to take the picture, you see this red line that comes and does this little swirly thing. And we were talking about, why did they choose that color? They're such bright colors, She said maybe that's why they chose them. I said, yeah, I would prefer like a teal color, something that was a little more calming. And she said, yeah, I don't know why they do that. And I said to her, maybe you should ask somebody. Maybe there's a reason that they do that. Maybe it has something to do with the rods and cones in our eyes and the way they see and perceive things. And I said to her, I always wonder about those people that are colorblind and come in here and have to sit, and you're telling them to look at the green dot and they don't see green. Some of them just see shades of gray, or they see a totally different color. My husband Thomas was colorblind, so when I would say it was green, he would tell me, well, you say green, but I see shades that are kind of a varied between brown and gray. So I always used to find that interesting, when he would tell me that, because I'd be like, how do you know the grass is green? He said, you know it by the smell. So, our other senses do pick up things, but then again, I always wonder, how do people that are colorblind make it through the day without seeing the beauty of the colors? We take those things for granted. Those of us that have that don't have that kind of issue. So, yeah. I just find it interesting, the differences with people, different color blindnesses that they have. Some just don't see red, some don't see green, and what is that a result of? Those kind of things. But yeah. Boy, I'm all over the place today, aren't I? Yep, that's me. Kind of here, there, and everywhere. And now that school is about to restart in a lot of places, let's keep an eye out for those school buses. Slow down, stop, pay attention to those rules. Try not to pass your school buses. Many times there may be a kid that's has to cross the street in front of there, so slow down, be careful. When that arm is out, stop driving. And also keep an eye out for our motorcyclists. They can be hard to see, but then again, sometimes I've seen motorcyclists do some really stupid stuff. Like on the interstate, when you're riding and they drive through the 2 lanes of cars because they want to get there faster. I think that's stupid of a motorcycle rider, and I think if there's a cop and they see that, they should stop them and give them a ticket, because that's dangerous. Not only that, but it's crazy. That could ruin your life. You could get killed. Or you could lose a leg. That is the one thing that I have. The friends that I do have them ride motorcycles, I always tease them about, I hope you don't rest that foot on that post and just let it sit there and hang out, left or right. And they'd be like, why? I said, because you have no idea how many people I took care of that were riding on motorcycles on the Appalachian highway, or the Appalachian Trail there, that had that leg sticking out there and got clipped by a car and lost their leg. So please be mindful of that. Keep an eye out for that. Don't do that. Don't be silly, folks. I have been having fun going through with this, the tote series. I am now ready to start pulling some of those from the garage to go through those. I don't know how many I will get through, but we'll see. I've had a couple of people who have been interested in the house. Like I said, a couple of them come through. I had some guy that drove up, was looking, and I'd said to him, you know, you're more than welcome to come in and view the house if you'd like to. And he declined. He said no, he would check with the realtor. And I'm like, well, you know, you don't have to sign the form to come in and look at the house. He said, form? What form? I said, now you have to sign a form to actually view a house when you go out to view a house. And I understand why they did that. And it was probably needed because there were some realtors that were taking advantage of people. And what it had to do with is this form lets you know who is paying the broker's fees when you're selling the house, who pays for them. And there were real estate agents that were charging the buyer and the seller the broker's fees. So that's why you now have to sign contracts so you know exactly who is paying for those broker's fees. Life is crazy, people. Can't make this stuff up, you know? Sometimes I wonder, you know, what made a realtor think that that was even appropriate? So, yeah. But, it's been interesting trying to sell this house. I've had some people come down and look at it. Of course, landscaping hasn't been done on it. So that deters a lot of folks because, you know, they don't want to have to worry about doing landscaping. And of course, that's what I'm part of the lawsuit with this contractor is about, is the fact that he did no landscaping but wants to charge me like he did. So, yeah. Had a lot of fun with that. Looking at some of the things, looking back and seeing some of those things. I'd found a receipt that he had sent me. And shows the total cost of my Pella windows, including the installation of them. And he was trying to say that I owed $40,000 for the Pella windows. I don't. I think he was a little surprised that I had that receipt. He didn't include it in his portion of the lawsuit, so apparently he doesn't have it. Or forgot he had it, so who knows. So, I think I've kept you long enough, so I hope everybody has a great week. I will see you again next week. things are a little bit calmer next week. Don't have a Bible study that I need to worry about. Don't have a lot of doctor's appointments and a lot of things like that. So it should be a nice, calm week. At least that's what I'm hoping. To where I can get a lot of things done that I need to get done. And let's be a little kinder to one another. And like I said, don't let the donkeys and the elephants, separate us, divide us. Because they're gonna. They're gonna try regardless. We're all in this life together. Whether we like it or not, we're all in the same lifeboat, Earth. Let's learn to get along. And let's learn to understand people have different opinions. Let's learn to be okay with that. All right, guys, I'll see you again next week. Everybody have a great week. Bye.